To moderate the session, I would request Mr. Siddharth Kedia, CEO of Gaming Nodwin, to join us as a moderator, and I also request him to introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Siddharth Kedia. I'm the CEO of Nodwin Gaming. It gives me great pleasure to be here amongst all of you. As I call it, this is the golden era of gaming that we are entering in. And to dwell more upon it, I'd like to call my esteemed panelists and throw some light on everything that we are doing and what the future beholds. Could I call my panelists to just take the stage, please? I would let the panelists introduce themselves, but just to give a very brief introduction, we have Mr. Ravi Kiran, who is the founder of Go Live. We have Mr. Sudhir Goyal, who is the Chief Business Officer of Acer. We have Mr. Mukesh Bajpai, who is the Marketing Head of AMD India. We have Ms. Ishita Grover, who is the Director for Marketing, Communications and Government Relations, OnePlus. And we have Kaushik Tiwari, who's the lead channel marketing Western Digital. So guys, we all know that access to gaming devices has become very ubiquitous. Technology is improving, hardware is improving, connectivity has played a big role in where we are today. What I would like to do is I would like you to give a little more color to your own introductions, who you are, what you do. And while you're doing that, let's take this opportunity to share your perspective on where are we headed, how is the gaming industry evolved, where do you see it's going, and what's the role that your company is playing in it. I'm a lot of questions, but basically just bring it all together as part of your introduction session, and then we'll do detailed questions after that. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Ravi. I head a group of companies mainly in the gaming, game development, publishing, and esports. I think there's never been a better time to be a game developer in India with the hardware, with the software, with the SDKs, with stuff like Chat GPT making lives easier. I think this is the best time. And I've been building games for about 17 years now, and I can confidently say that this year is the golden year for any developer, not just the older ones, right? Indies, I think there are 1200 plus gaming companies in India and stuff. So never a better time. I'll throw more insights a little later.
Thank you. My name is Sudhir Goel. I am Chief Business Officer for Acer India. Acer, as a hardware provider, is one of the leading gaming brands. Our, our Predator series in the gaming is well known as a notebook category. As we see the market, what we have observed in the last few years, I mean, there was a time, especially for oldies like me, if the kids are playing games, it was supposed to be no-no, right? I mean, that was a time few years back, and today we know that gaming has become more like a sports. I mean, we do expect that at least in a few years from now, either at the Asian Games level or in the Olympics, there will be some kind of a esports event which will start taking place. I mean, that's the direction in which the gaming has moved in the last many years. We have seen in India a huge growth. Uh, while we talk about a PC hardware, especially the laptop as a market in the current calendar year of 2023, there have been negative news about the degrowth of the PC as as a device, primarily because we just come out of the COVID, where a lot of consumption has taken place. But the gaming is in India, the gaming hardware in India, especially for the serious gamers, the PC as a category, PC gaming is still expected to grow 20% plus. That means those many more new devices would be bought by the consumers here, and that's a good opportunity for us. And that shows the way the gaming has been taken very seriously by the youngsters. I remember we have been conducting the Predator Gaming League as an event in India, and then taking it to the let's say the Asia Pacific level. We have the India tournament, and they qualify for the Asia Pacific. And the number of teams which we see, I mean the intense competition we see from the preliminary level right up to the final is amazing. And that means this is evolving as an industry. The gaming industry is evolving as an industry, and I'm sure As we move forward, we'll see many new, let's say, technologies, many new, many areas of the growth will take place. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mukesh Bajpayee. I head marketing for AMD in India. And in line with what my predecessors shared in terms of the state of gaming industry in India, more or less I am like in sync with their views. And this industry, the gaming industry, is where we see it currently. It is poised at a very sweet spot currently, and as Vic said that it's like we are entering into a golden era. I would say that we are already into a golden era for last 3 years as far as gaming industry is concerned. It's booming, and the overall the gaming industry in India is pegged around somewhere 2.6 billion as far as India market is concerned, and probably somewhere around 365 billion globally. And this is pegged to grow at like 12% CAGR annually for next 5 to 6 years. It might be a little bit even more the way things are moving on. Uh, but what we see as an organization is that the way this will change over next 2 to 3 years will be very transformative as well as very iterative. What I mean to say over here is that the games, the way we look at games today, the games going forward will become more intricate, they will become more complex, and they will become more cinematic. And with technologies like AR, VR, and cloud gaming coming into the scene, and even more technologies, the way this will transform will be a very fast paced or very rapid technological innovation that will take place. And that's where my organization AMD comes into place with leading technology in terms of the product lineup that we have, the CPUs, the GPUs, and even much more with the acquisition of Xilinx. The way we are placed in terms of kind of high performance adaptive computing, especially in the segment of gaming, that's where we feel that we'll be able to contribute and take the whole gaming industry into in India into the next forefront. That's it.
Hi, I'm Ishita. I head marketing. Apart from communications and government relations, it just becomes a very long introduction otherwise. As a brand, OnePlus has always believed in doing what is right for our community. And over the last 2 to 3 years, we've clearly witnessed a surge in online gaming. And keeping that in mind, today OnePlus, apart from our own IP that we have dominated, in fact, something that Nordwin works very closely with us on, our entire portfolio is getting built, be it on the smartphone segment, our newly launched category like a monitor, along with the smart TVs, and with our buds. We are building an ecosystem which will enable gamers to be more competent. This comes in from the features, be it refresh rate across all products or the low latency. So clearly, it's online gaming is here to stay, and as a brand globally, this is something which we are going to focus on and continue to work within the community to especially strengthen the ecosystem in India that we are building.
Okay, hi. My name is Kaushik Tiwari, and I lead channel marketing at Western Digital. So, as a part of my role, I am also responsible for esports and gaming initiatives. And again, I can't agree more with whatever everyone has said so far. Some of you said that we are entering into a global era, and Mukesh, I think, said that we are already in a global era of gaming. And I and Mukesh, go a long way back, and we have been working together in terms of really developing this entire ecosystem. So I will have to agree with him more than anyone else. And with the fact that the government has just, kind of stamped this very formally, with esports now becoming a recognized or a appreciated, multi-skill platform, I think sky is the limit from here on. If you see the number of tournaments that are happening, the overall prize pool that is getting pumped into the entire segment, the skill level which has been put on display, It's absolutely fantastic. And we believe that Western Digital has been and will continue to play a very, very active role in propelling this entire ecosystem further in partnership with some of the already, larger and active players like AMD, NVIDIA, and others. So, yeah, that's what I do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ishita, let's start with you. The whole Made in India program has given a boost to mobile manufacturing in India. And with 5G coming in, it's a boost in the arm for mobile gaming in general in the country. What steps is OnePlus taking to take mobile gaming more mainstream?
First of all, like I said, I mean, OnePlus does have full 5G, all in ready 5G devices, which we started close to 2020, right? And that comes in at every price point, starting 20K and above, right, going up to our most expensive device today. So this is something which that we feel that we have an edge here, and also coming in from our devices like our TVs or our monitors. These are all devices which are getting built ready for India, for the Indian audience in India. Other than that, there are two things that play a very critical role in terms of how are these devices equipped to to help a gamer uh, perform, right? So we have, over the last 2 years, developed a proprietary OnePlus gaming engine, which is called the HyperBoost. The HyperBoost has been a part of most of our flagships starting last year. And even in terms of, I briefly touched upon it, so even in terms of our monitors, so the higher refresh rate, the low drop of frames that are there, this is something which we are working very closely with our product R&D team in India, as well as building it to be listening to our community in terms of the features that they also ask us when we get into a product development stage. What this helps us to do is have a very clear, thought from them, and we have a very avid community in India which is into gaming, and they're also a part of our beta testers program as well. So listening to them and understanding the tech that they require to be gamers today, especially since online gaming is now steadily increasing as a profession as well, it's important to listen to them and then develop products. So be it our smart TV, be it our smartphones, be it our audio category, they all are built to facilitate this ecosystem and provide every level of support that we do. Other than that, we also have our own gaming IP. It's still not compared to what my panelists have here, but it's a small IP that we started in 2020. And it started with literally with just a call as to how do we connect with our gaming community when we were launching the OnePlus 8. And one of the ideas was, why don't we do an online tournament, because that's exactly when the pandemic also hit us. So picking in from there, I think we are now working almost on our 4th season. And with this, we've also worked and brought in the college community together. So last year, we launched Campus Dominate, which was bringing in the young college students and giving them an experience of, how to work together. So yeah, I mean, small steps, but getting there.
Thank you. Uh, Mukesh, you mentioned cloud gaming. Now that's a subject which is very close to my heart. It's very interesting. Can you share some light on what's happening in cloud gaming? How is AMD poised in the evolution of cloud gaming in India? I mean, we'd love to know what you're doing in cloud gaming.
So that's something very close to our heart as well. And personally, I'm like very keen and interested in pursuing how this whole cloud gaming thing is going to shape up in next few years, because that's very, very critical. Now, what is happening is that with the increasing penetration of high-speed internet through 5G network, okay, now the traditional gaming will uh, gradually migrate to cloud. Okay, uh, why this will happen is because the lower cost of initial investment, once the whole gaming infrastructure migrates to cloud over a period of time, uh, the entry cost barrier is fairly low. So what will happen is that this will attract a lot of new gamers into the field of gaming. And that's where lies the opportunity for all of us who are part of the gaming ecosystem. Okay, now where AMD is positioned in this whole cloud gaming system or ecosystem is that through our epic range of processors, which are like far more faster, far more energy efficient, and far more secure than those of our competitors, we are in a position to kind of provide that kind of high performance gaming infrastructure or ecosystem to the players who ultimately migrate to the cloud gaming ecosystem. It's not that the traditional PC gaming or the handheld device gaming will completely go away, but both will coexist over a period of time. The line between both the things will actually blur over a period of time is what we feel, but both will coexist, but cloud will over a period of time gain a lot of importance, and that's where we stand to gain from this whole transition or transformation. But as a ecosystem we need to be prepared for it, both in terms of the technological advancements or the new features that we bring into this system, and both in terms of our level of preparedness.
Thank you. Sudhir, let me come to you. PC gaming, like you mentioned, has been growing leaps and bounds. India, if I am not wrong, now is the third largest PC install base in the world. How do you see some of the technical changes that are happening in PC gaming? How do you see that market evolving?
Okay, actually, the PC gaming has to evolve as the gaming software, the games have evolved. So, like Mukesh mentioned earlier, they have become much more intrinsic, right? I mean, they have become much more complex. The performance or the speed which a gamer requires, I mean, it's a hyper realistic, hyper performance kind of a device which they actually need. We have seen in some of the gaming leagues which we conduct, then how in a microsecond delays in the performance can result into a loss for a gamer. So the expectation of the gamers today is to have very high performance, accurate and close to the real display. And that's where it's a combination of many factors. And our Predator series, which we are revamped to meet these requirements, come number one with the latest generation of the high performance processor, high performance GPUs. At the same time, we know that the display quality becomes very, very essential for this gamer. They should be able to see a realistic colors. And so the Predator series, which we have, comes with WXGA as a technology. WXGA gives, let's say, much better color accuracy. It has more 15% more pixels and therefore results into a much better brightness of 11%. And then, of course, it has to have the optimized power because today the games are not played. I mean, the number of people who are migrating from the casual gamer to the serial gamer is quite high. They would like to play the games which can be about 7 to 8 hours. So the system should be able to operate with that kind of number of hours at the high performance utilization of both processor and the GPUs. And hence, you need a very high level cooling. We have currently revision 5 or the version 5 of the Aeroblade technology, which ensures that despite operating at the maximum speed of the processor and the GPU, we are still able to have the cool system so that it can have the realistic performance. Now, beyond this processor, I mean, both graphics as well as compute, what you also need is a high response time. So there's a migration in the memory architecture. I mean, in our latest series from DDR4 to DDR5, which gives doubles the overall performance of the system. We also have PCI 3 to PCI 4 migration, which implies that the IO devices are able to operate, or the internal storage are able to operate at a high speed. We also have the Thunderbolt as a technology, which implies that the dual data transfer as well as for the storage. So there are many new features which have evolved in our new series. So I mean, which gives not only a high performance but a long working games can operate efficiently with a minimal, let's say, disruption or the lag time. That is how the technology is evolving. As we see that more intrinsic games can, I'm sure that the technology will further evolve to get a better speed. Thank you.
Thank you. Kaushik, you guys introduced the WD Black brand, right? Can you throw some light on the importance of that brand for gaming and your Black portfolio? How is that enabling the whole gaming ecosystem?
Yeah, so see, when it comes to storage brands, we were probably the first major storage brand to pick up, first of all, understand the importance and potential of gaming, and then decide that we really want to deeply venture into it. So it was way back in 2018, time frame, when we decided to kind of, venture into this gaming and try and become a partially gaming company. I would not call it a fully gaming company because that's what you guys do, but yeah, partially a gaming company. And with that vision came the R&D efforts, the engineering efforts in terms of, first of all, understanding the gamers and then creating products which ultimately become a reflection of them. Now, from that perspective, if you see our complete WD Black range, it has products which go inside a computer. There are products which are available for consoles. There are products which you can attach to a computer, could be just plug and play, wherein you can carry your entire library with you. But if you see all the products, ultimately the aesthetics of the products, the overall sentiment around the product reflects the mood of a gamer. Some of them would have LED on them. Some of them would have the heat sink on them. So ultimately, each and every proposition that we bring as a part of this entire package is a reflection of a gamer's mindset. So that's one. Second thing is, what we also wanted to do was we did not want to just create a product which could just uh, satiate the hardware requirements of a gamer. We wanted to go one or two steps ahead of that. So which is where our R&D and engineering actually worked on creating both software package along with the hardware as well. So today, if you buy a WD Black product, it could be an internal hard SSD or an external hard drive. With that, you will also get a complete dashboard which allows you features like game mode, wherein your game folders automatically get detected by the computer and your game loads much faster. Your game progress, gets saved much faster. So for a gamer, it's that those few split seconds of time that ultimately can make a difference while he's playing esports or a professional, level tournament. And apart from that, what we have also been working is we have been working with some of the other, industry experts from NVIDIA, from AMD, and from similar other, companies in terms of understanding as to what else can be done, what kind of AI features could be brought into the picture. And I think from that perspective, we have come a long way. Finally, what we are doing from in terms of developing the entire ecosystem. So as I said, WD Black Cup was an IP that we created 2 years ago here in India. No, it was not started by our HQ, it was started here in India. And since then, we have gone from strength to strength. Right now, we are doing our 4th edition of it, and we have already started getting somewhere around 10 million odd viewership per event. So I think in a very short span of time, we have done a lot. Similarly, there are other social and digital engagement which have also been going. And then, lastly, but most importantly, we are also developing the complete channel ecosystem. Because it's not just about creating the products, you also have to put the products out there in the market so that consumers can purchase them, right? So that is where enabling the channel also becomes, a key constituent of this entire ecosystem, and that's what we are doing as well.
Thanks. Well, I can personally vouch for WD, all your products. I think I have pretty much your entire range from the time it started. So let's come to my neighbor, Ravi. The one of the most talked about, I don't know whether to call it tool or to call it robot or to call it our future, is ChatGPT, right? Everyone is talking about ChatGPT. And in the same vein, no one is talking about the cousin of ChatGPT, which blew Google's market cap out of the water in a day. But it'll be interesting to know your perspective on AI in gaming. Where is it headed? What's the future?
Perfect. So to start off with on the AI angle, right? So till last year, the coolest thing that game developers used to use AI was for monetization. So if there are 100 gamers, which user will buy which item? How do I predict it? How do I tempt him to buy that, and so on? Today, after Chat GPT, the art assets can be generated with AI, the storylines can be generated with AI. The missions, whether people will even finish that mission or not, can be guessed or predicted with AI. So the future is completely, I mean, it's at the next level. If everyone who's a game designer or an artist is now thinking of using those tools to come up with something like next gen. Just as an example, in the morning I was checking out the storyline for the next Prabhas's movie. I thought that was a real storyline, and at the end of the video, I came to know that that was a spoof, and it's a storyline created by AI, and it was an amazing storyline. So I think AI will play a big role, and just want to add one more point about the ecosystem in India itself. Out of about 800 million people who are playing mainly on smartphones, 1 to 2% per year are becoming hardcore gamers. So that's like 8 to 16 million hardcore gamers who will graduate to become PC or high-end mobile gamers, right? They're all these hardcore guys who will consume content, play for hours and hours. And more importantly, their spending power is growing 2 to 3x each year. So someone was spending 10 rupees is now spending 20, 30 rupees. So that's 4 to 6x growth that we can see year on year. So if our market, genuine non-skill gaming market is 600 million, just imagine when it becomes billions and billions and then maybe billion, every top publisher, every top gaming hardware guy, everyone will be in India. And we just need to equip our skill set to handle that. I keep referring to this. I think more than 3 lakh jobs will be created in gaming. So we should be ready for that storm that's coming.
Wow, 3 lakh. Ishita, coming back to you, we've recently seen OnePlus launch a host of products with gaming at its core, right? Whether it's smartphones with powerful hardware, whether it's TVs with low latency, or monitors with high refresh rate. Uh, is gaming becoming the core of product development at OnePlus?
So I won't say it's gaming become the core of product development, but it's most of our products are designed for pure efficiency from a performance point of view. But like I had initially mentioned, for us, as a brand, community is what drives a lot of initiatives that we undertake. So for our community, gaming is becoming one of the major key factors that is helping us drive some of the product efficiencies that we are bringing out, and creating and providing an ecosystem, like I said, for them to be better equipped. So be it working with our partners Qualcomm, or be it with Geo Live or Geo Games, we are actually focusing a lot on building this entire narrative around them. Another important thing is that at the end of the day, it's all based on the hardware we are holding, right? And that's where, if we are looking at strengthening or looking at delivering the best experience to our users or to our community, it automatically becomes a focus area for us when we are into the product development stage. So that's why you would see us talking a lot about the various enhancements we've done to our product for the gamers that we have within our ecosystem. Specifically in India, we also have a range, it's called the R series of the flagship category. And this device we won't call it just targeted towards gamers, but it's further enhanced to give the best gaming experience that is there. So we've just launched it into the market, the third series of the R series, which is the 11R. So that's where we are.
All right, thank you. Um, Kaushik, from your ecosystem standpoint, what all do you see as the key drivers in your journey as you make further inroads in your products reach a wider audience that are looking at upgrading their systems? This could be PCs, there could be consoles, it could even be their mobiles, because storage is required everywhere, and we're just storing more and more and more. So, just some drivers that you're seeing for that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So this is where the entire ecosystem development becomes important as far as we are concerned. So we are not looking in any specific or a single unidirectional. We are not taking any unidirectional approach. The approach is multifold, and from that perspective, one of the things that as I think I mentioned in my last point as well, the channel development becomes very, very important. So one part is educating the consumers about the products. Yes, it's important. But just putting the specifications out there will not help. You will have to go one step ahead and tell them that, okay, so if you have this product called SN850X out there in the market, which can operate at 7,300 Mbps, how can this help you in your in-game time? And that is where we'll have to work with our channel partners. We'll have to enable them. We will have to enable the system integrators. We'll have to enable the distributors. and equip them with this kind of information. So what we have been doing is, number one, from a consumer side, we have been doing activities like WD Black Cup. We have been participating in a lot of gaming tournaments. We have also been participating with Nodwin, for example, in some of your initiatives. That's one. Second thing, so that's more of a consumer activity. Then we have created a specific social media channel, WD Black India, where we have been engaging with gamers, professional sports enthusiasts, casual gamers, etc., by running a lot of contests, etc., for them. Other than that, we have been working with some of the channel partners in creating specific consumer curated, consumer specific, curated promos for them. For example, what we do is we bundle our products with AMD processors, okay, and then we bring them to the market for the consumers as well. So that has worked very, very well, because now for a consumer, suddenly he is benefiting, in a single promo, he's getting the benefits of two different products. So that also, helps them understand as to what's the overall value proposition that we bring to them. And lastly, it's about also educating the normal run-of-the-mill resellers. So for that, what we have done is we have created an official WhatsApp channel on which approximately 2,000 plus system integrators are engaged with us on a daily basis. So we keep circulating a lot of curated content for them as well in terms of making them aware. So net, you enable the entire channel, you do a lot of consumer activities, and then get the product out there in the market for them.
Great, thank you so much. Mukesh, people have often said, and we continue to say so, that India is a mobile country when it comes to gaming. However, both PC and handheld are really pivotal to the gaming future. How do you see this market evolving in the near future?
So this, as I spoke in my previous question, so this is a very interesting, one of the very interesting evolution that the gaming industry is going through, and it will actually mature over the next few years as well. Okay, but I would like to start by saying that both the segments, the handheld as well as the traditional PC, as far as gaming is concerned, are in a very, very healthy spot, both in terms of growth as well as innovation. Okay, both are poised to grow somewhere between 12 to 15% CAGR, and this is, I'm talking about the global uh, estimates that are available. India might be running even faster than that as far as gaming is concerned. Okay, so that's how this whole balance or equilibrium between the handheld gaming device and the traditional PC gaming device will come into place. Now, AMD as an organization is once again is in a very healthy, has a very healthy market presence in both the segments. Now, taking a cue from both my co-panelists as Kaushik and Sudhirji both said that the even a split second performance delay or performance superiority matters a lot to the gamer, because that decides 1 frame per second or something like that will decide the future of the fate of that gamer in that particular competition or the game that he is playing. Okay, so now this is where AMD comes into the play. That, for instance, you take up the new AMD Ryzen 7040 series of processors that have come in the market very recently. Uh, we have been able to ramp up the performance to altogether a different level through this new launch. If you talk about the new Ryzen 7000 X3D processors, officially the fastest gaming processor in the world today. So that's the kind of impetus or the computing power or the performance that AMD is bringing into the whole ecosystem. But adding to this, the new devices that are entering in the market are blurring the line between a traditional PC and a handheld gaming device. For example, let us talk about the case of Steam Deck. Again, powered by AMD hardware, but it can be used both ways. It is a handheld gaming device, as well as it can work as a traditional PC if you plug into your monitor. So these kind of devices will define or blur the line between the two kind of the gaming devices, either handheld or PC. So that it gives more choice and more opportunity and more performance arenas to the gamers. So that's one thing. And another thing that we talked about was the importance of artificial intelligence in. So another thing that we spoke about very clearly was the role of artificial intelligence in gaming, and that's going to increase significantly. And I would say that that would, in a way, revolutionize the gaming industry, the whole artificial bit. Now, AMD's contribution to this is, if you see the new 7040 series of processors that we have launched, it has got something called Ryzen AI Point 2. Now, what is this? This is a first discrete artificial intelligence hardware built into an x86 processor. Now, this is something what AMD is capable of bringing onto the table when it comes to performance and enabling the gamers to go to altogether a different level. And that's where I would say that whole balance of traditional PC and the handheld gaming device will continue to evolve, but it will not settle anytime soon.
Interesting. Uh, Sudhir, I think this is a great segue after what Mukesh has said. Where do you see the market growth coming in the PC market, and what kind of growth is coming? Where is it coming from? Just some perspectives.
So as I said that, I mean, we have repeatedly said that India is well poised for the gaming market. I mean, with a large population, low penetration, and the aspirational value of the youngsters being so high, there are a lot of people who are moving. Number one, they will move to the casual gaming and then later on to the serious gaming, for which they will use PC as a device. It could be a mobile device or it could be a stationary device like a desktop with a high-end monitors, etc. So it's definitely a well-positioned gaming market for us. And the industry estimates or all the studies says that even in a year like 2023, where the global PC market is expected to shrink. I mean, it started shrinking in the quarter 4. The gaming laptop market itself in India is expected to grow nothing less than 24 to 25%. This is when we are talking about global recessions, the IT market going down, tech sector is melting. Despite all those factors, gaming, mobile, notebook, I mean the gaming notebook market is expected to grow nothing less than 23-24% is with all industry estimates. There are various reasons for that. The newer technologies, the people who are using earlier as a casual gamers, now it wants to become the serious gamer. They need a better refresh rate, they need a better screen, they need a better performance, they need a better compute power, everything, right? So they will definitely upgrade. There are a lot of new people who are getting into this. Second, I mean, if, I don't know how many of you have seen some of the statements which have been made by the government itself talking about growth of the esports as a market. I mean, that itself shows that it's no more a bad thing to play games, right? I mean, on the computer, otherwise we used to have that kind of problem. So the market is well poised, and we definitely see India as a bright spot in otherwise, let's say, not so good market in the PC industry.
24 to 25%. We are definitely in the right industry. Ravi, we've heard some panelists talk about AR, VR. They're becoming more and more extended reality now. Do you want to throw some light, being a developer, what are the kind of both challenges and opportunities that you're seeing in terms of extended reality, the way haptics are now responding, IoT is coming in, because that's really the next frontier of gaming, where it's that's as interactive as it gets.
So let me start with some examples, right? On the XR front, Quest 2 has not even launched in India, and there are more than 10,000 pieces getting shipped every month to India, and that's like B2B customers buying Quest 2 devices. Just imagine when B2C starts happening. Not just that, you must have heard of gamers being at the forefront of technology, right? I mean, NFTs, metaverses, anything you think of, gamers are the first guys or first people, men and women, to take up the new technology. And in terms of XR, when India will take that leap, whether it's on the Quest 2 or just Roblox kind of metaverses becoming all encompassing, Indian gamers are second to none. And like I was saying, when you have 30-40 million hardcore gamers, about 80 million esport enabled viewers and gamers, they have the knowledge. They just are waiting for that popular game or popular application to plug in. We saw what happened when PUBG became a success, 100 million installs. Free Fire became a success, 100 million installs. I mean, 100 million gamers are not there even in America for a certain game, top games. So India, when something works, it will work big. When it works, government has to ban it, otherwise it's unstoppable. So basically that's what happens when it works in India, right? So I'm sure in the next gen, whether it is haptics, I've seen vests. There's a Chennai company which made a AI-enabled vest. So the vest knows your heartbeat, how much you're sweating and stuff, because of which it will predict how well you are performing or your APMs and things like that. IoT is going to be there. XR, all of us know how immersive these worlds are. The next gen of metaverses, blockchain, all of it are already there in India. They're just latent. I think very soon we'll see some super app or super game just click, have 100 million users, everyone's plugged into it, and college kids especially, they are the cusp of tech, right? College kids will probably do PhDs in those games more than their colleges and stuff, which is not bad. I mean, we all know how the college education is. Why not let them learn more from gaming than regular college education?
Thank you. Kaushik, let me ask you this question. Ideally, I would have liked to ask myself this question, but I can't. So I'll ask you. How do you see the whole pro gaming esports scene evolve in the country, and what role is Western Digital playing in the whole evolution?
Okay, so slightly longer answer, but I'll try and kind of summarize this. But
Go for it.
thank you.
This question deserves a long answer.
So, see, I personally have always believed that there are three pillars, there are three growth drivers which will drive this entire industry. One, of course, is the government initiatives. The second is the in-game experience. And the third, of course, is the monetization part of it. If there's no money, I mean, what's the interest, right? So, from a government, initiatives perspective or the government stance, I think it's pretty clear. Now that it has officially also been declared that esports is recognized, it's very clear. And the fact that a large number of programs are being rolled out, the interesting one that you would have seen in the budget is while it's not very apparent, but there is a Science and Education Research Board which conducted a conclave, INAI, which is now understanding the potential of indigenous platforms and creating games and apps basis this entire platform. That's number one. Esports is already been spoken about as a career option in a lot of curriculums, right? Government has started reaching out to a lot of OEMs to understand as to what can be done in terms of investing further and creating a viable career option out of this. The Make AI in India, the Make AI Work for India, the Digital India Risk 5 program, and apart from that, the corpus of 16,500 crores invested in METI this year as a part of the fiscal. So all this augurs very, very well for all of us, right, who are involved in the industry. And ultimately, gaming will evolve. Gaming will, emerge victorious out of all these efforts. That's number one. Number two, in terms of in-game experience. So almost all the OEMs, you talk about, us, you talk about other component manufacturers, everyone is determined to enhance and elevate the gaming performance to a completely different level. And it has to be a combination of hardware plus software. So in the hardware, I don't have to mention the kind of advancements that we are making. In terms of software, combined with the AI, artificial intelligence, the metaverse-like environments coming up, all this will continue to create that immersive in-game environment which will draw more and more gamers into it. And of course, when you have more and more gamers, you have a larger market. When you have a larger market, you have more products to sell. Lastly, the monetization part of it. So in terms of monetization, a very interesting stat. India has what, 507 million gamers, as per a report by Indian Brand and Equity Foundation. Out of these 507 million gamers, 120 million are paying gamers. Now, and even more interesting, data point is that the ARPU that you generate out of these folks go up to $20 a year. So there's a lot of corpus sitting out there. Imagine what can the game developers, the publishers, the designers do out of this. 160K jobs are supposed to be created in the next 3 years in India, in this particular domain itself. So that tells you the kind of momentum that will be driven in the next few years. And there is something or the other for everyone out there. Now, we at Western Digital, we understand the potential that this entire domain has. And which is why all of the initiatives that I spoke about earlier have been shaped up, curated, and have been thought through. And which is why you will see us being very, very aggressive in this space. We'll continue to make ecosystem partners, even if they may or may not choose to be our partners, but we will drive them hard. Yeah, we'll bring more and more moolah into it, and we'll go all after in terms of promoting this industry.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Just adding to that, uh, the two most important pillars of esports. The first one is the publisher because he owns the IP, right? The publisher studio owns the IP. The second is the skilled gamer who's not a regular guy. He's like the Sachin Tendulkar of the esports segment. In the first part, what has happened is publishers used to fund esports to keep their game alive. Today, publishers are making profits from esports. I don't think that is sustainable. I'm talking as a publisher. So again, slowly it will go back to a situation where publishers will fund esports again, and esports on the whole will grow. And I'm talking as a pro gamer. I used to be a champion in Age of Empires, Warcraft. The best thing I used to win was a graphic card. 2003 to 5, the best prize I could show my parents was a graphic card. Today, there are prizes to be won, there are medals to be won. When governments and publishers work together, that recognition can go back to homes. When kids go back to their parents and tell them that I've done something which is an achievement, automatically the respect that esports deserves, the professionals deserve starts coming in. Brands start taking them as their brand ambassadors. And of course, I mean, if 300 million people follow cricket ardently, the day is not far off when 500 million people will follow esports crazily enough, that esports stars are bigger than Sachin Tendulkar's and Dhoni's. That is happening for sure. Let's just be prepared for it.
Amen to that. Sudhir, we heard a lot about how PCs are growing in the country. What is your company specifically doing around the whole Make in India initiative when it comes to these machines?
Yeah, so away from gaming, but I mean, for last at least 2 to 3 years, there has been a lot of focus by the government to do the Make in India initiative, especially the supply chain globally. We saw the disruption during the COVID time because it was skewed towards one particular country, and we seen the disruption taking place. Secondly, I think the manufacturing as a vertical overall, IT becomes a part of it. That it's a job creation, and therefore there should be a lot of focus has come in the government in a serious way. And for last few years, both the ministry as well as the industry as a whole, with the PC industry, has been co-working, trying to get the policy systems in place so as to ensure that we start getting the PC manufacturing in India. Acer has been a leading brand, and then we have been present in the country since 2000. We have been manufacturing in the Pondicherry as a plant, and then with the kind of initiatives and the production link incentive, PLI as it is called, which is coming across the various sectors, automobile, textile is also coming, the mobile phones, which has been successful, and of course now it has been introduced in the PC, and especially the laptops, the all-in-ones, and some of the other hardware devices. The government is very serious, and we have also taken the initiative for last couple of years since the time this policy has been rolled out. We have started doing in the ecosystem the manufacturing in the various phase-wise manufacturing plants. We have started moving part of the manufacturing to the India. At least two of our ecosystem partners did qualify for the incentives in the first year itself based on the basis, let's say the value addition and incremental, let's say the business or the manufacturing which has been done. So it is obviously there are in any policy there will be certain challenges, and co-working between the industry and the ministry, we're seriously working, trying to see some of those handicaps to ensure that the PC manufacturing, the laptop manufacturing, some of these components manufacturing start moving into India. I am quite optimistic that as long as we are on this path, we are on the right path. You can't achieve everything in 1 year. It's change which will take place gradually. But in next couple of years, you will see that like we have seen in the case of phones, smartphones, the India will not only do the the manufacturing for the domestic consumption, but we'll also start doing the exports in a limited way in the next couple of years. As I mentioned, we are doing the manufacturing of entire ecosystem from the desktops to the all-in-ones to the laptops to the tablets to the projectors the large format displays, monitors, everything in India. And of course, as we move forward, I'm sure we'll see many more. I mean, the volume going up in a few years. Thank you.
Thanks. Very informative. Kaushik, let's start with you. Let's do a round. Any closing comments about the industry, the growth rates? Just how would you, any wrapping up comments?
Sure, thanks. So my final comment would be that, I mean, as I said, I mean, we have all been, very confident of the fact that this industry will continue to prosper. The number of mobile gamers who are increasing at the rate of almost 12% CAGR. The spending users increasing at the rate of 25% CAGR. All this sounds very attractive proposition for all of us. We ultimately, this gaming industry will help us in terms of selling our high performance products, and that is where the margins are. That is where the value is, right? So I'm particularly bullish about this. I'm trust, all of our other esteemed panelists are as enthusiastic about this as I am, and we look forward to contributing this space. Thank you.
Thanks, Ishita.
So I think as closing remarks, I think India right now is well positioned for this industry to grow. And especially with the advent of 5G coming in, we'll see even more uptake in terms of mobile gaming to come in. I think another interesting trend that we've been talking as a brand, and I feel that it's something which is here to stay, is the way women gamers are also becoming a part of the gaming community, which earlier to a large extent was male dominated for the right word. And I think today I've been told that they're close to 49% women gamers in the industry, and I feel this number is here to stay and here to increase. In fact, I was talking to my team here, and they said that the esteemed president just stopped at one, stall here, and that was the Microsoft stall, because she was very interested in knowing the all-women tournament, that they are hosting. So I feel that from a gender equality perspective as well, I think India is right up there and acknowledging the efforts. And of course, like all my panelists have said, that gaming in general, whether it's esports or how we are facilitating them economically, is here to grow. And I feel that typically when we were growing up, gaming was a pastime that we used to do, right? And I'm sure like 10, 15 or 20 years back, if we told our parents that we want to professionally pick up gaming, I think I don't think it would have been met with a very positive response. But today it's emerging as a very steady source of income, be it for e-gamers or even like just streaming their content on YouTube about e-gaming. So we feel that as a brand, I agree with Kaushik. We are also extremely bullish, and it's here to stay, and it's here to prosper as a sector.
Thank you, Mukesh.
Yeah, Siddhant, first of all, I would like to borrow your line as my closing comment when you said that yes, we are in the right industry. So I adhere to that and I endorse that we all are in the right industry and exactly at the right point of time today. The way the gaming industry is poised, the kind of growth rates that are being projected for it, and the revenue opportunities that it is throwing at all the ecosystem players on one side, that's the monetization part of it. And second is the change that this whole gaming per se is bringing into the society. The way the lives of people who are getting into this as a profession is changing. The opportunity of them earning a kind of acceptance in the society, recognition at a global level, and also gaining financially is increasing very rapidly, and it's getting more acceptance globally as well as especially in our country now. Second is yes, it's a very stable environment and it's going here to stay, and it's only can move to the direction called north from here. It can't go anywhere else. But to end, it's a responsibility of all the ecosystem players, all of us together share the responsibility to ensure that this industry grows and it gets the right enablers at the right time, whether it's technology or the enablers or the software providers or the gaming communities or anybody who's involved in this, to provide the right kind of enablers and at the right price point to the gamers to ensure that this thrives and this community succeeds in the country.
Thank you, Sudhir.
So I think almost everything has been said. You have to see that number one, India as a country is poised well. I mean, we are the bright spot in the otherwise gloomy economic scenario. Number one, we have the advantage of the demography. I mean, our age group, the young age group, which is actually the one which adopts the gaming as an industry, it's a large population. Number three, the aspirations value is high. Keeping all these factors, we have seen that the kind of a growth which this industry has done in the last few years, both in terms of the devices as well as in terms of the ecosystem, both for the development of the software and the various other stakeholders in the industry. So it's the right time, I mean, the best of the time for us. And we definitely feel that in the next few years, esports itself will become a separate industry. Like we talk about supply chain industry, we talk about pharma industry, but esports with the kind of a population, with the kind of a skill set which we have, should become the complete industry in itself is definitely going to take place in the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah, I'll tread the controversial line here again. I think the biggest, what you said, role that will be played by the government here. Whether we go in the direction of China, closed market, frog in the pond, or open market, which is what we are today. So it's a challenge for our developers, our talent, to make a AAA game which can compete with the best of the world. Like let's say, a Indian-made shooter game outdoing Valorant is not so easy. That's why you don't hear Indian stories yet. So whether government supports Indian industry with some interesting principles or guidelines, or does it make it a little more closed market and stuff is to be seen. But if nothing happens, we are already on track to become a $5 to $10 billion industry. All the good things are already happening. We just need to see what external factors like government do to the industry. Otherwise, we are number one in probably 10 years down the line.
Thanks. I think very informative. My key takeaways are gaming is going to contribute meaningfully to India's GDP targets. We are growing very fast. Contribute significantly to unemployment or generating employment. I think till the time my panelists out here keep evolving and keep, taking out newer and better products, we'll all as consumers continue to spend money year after year in upgrading our hardware. They're very good at creating that FOMO. I think government support and policies are going to play a pivotal role in the growth of the industry. And as I'm hearing from everyone, and I can testify myself, esports is just the tip of the iceberg. We are just about starting what esports hold as future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would request you to put your hands together for the bellwethers of this industry. Thank you so much.